Dan and Corey here, welcoming you into Libservative.
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back.
Welcome in to another arousing rendition of Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest podcast.
Clearly.
Bell the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He is mowing on a meatball sub right now, but he will join us momentarily. He, as always, is Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
A homemade meatball sub, too. Actually looks delicious. It's making me hungry. It's a good week for it, too.
You're just watching Bell off screen smash nice meaty balls.
It's a perfect week for it. Have you ever
it's not June yet.
Have you ever forgotten that you're going on vacation?
Yeah.
Dude, I thought that I had next week, the week of Memorial Day, off of work, to the point where my wife even took that week off. And I get a text on Saturday from the guy who covers my accounts, and he goes, "Hey, you got your route sheet ready for next week?" I'm like, "The fuck you talking about next week?" I'm like, "I have the following week off." I checked the fucking vacation schedule. I had this week off.
Dude, it fucked you up, right? Okay, I get it. I
was like, oh, God.
100%, because my parents, so my parents, they are retired and they live / work at a like a campground resort on the west side of the state. And I had this whole little trip planned for May 30th for disking and stuff like that. But I feel like the last couple of years, like you always, I think it's in the back of your mind, Memorial Day weekend is like the last weekend of May. And sometimes it even kind of trickles into it plays footsie with June. You know what I mean? And I feel like Memorial Day weekend this year is just really, really super soon. And I think it took everyone by surprise.
I think you're giving me too much credit. I just fucked up. I just took the wrong week off of work. That's all that happened. No, that's not true. That's not true. I took the correct week off of work, but I just thought I took the other week off. You're giving me way too much credit. I appreciate it, but here we are.
No. So yeah, Memorial Day weekend snuck up on me is all as I'm saying. Like, and I thought maybe I was trying to give you some credit, and you're right. And you should have just been like, yeah, Corey, you're right. But you fucked up, Dan. You fucked up.
I did. I totally fucked up. My wife was rightfully
so.
My
Memorial Day weekend camping trip plans weren't made until like this morning.
You've done a hell of a lousy job.
You're right.
How was that delicious?
Austin was.
He's still eating it. He's still eating it. It must have been an expensive sub.
I just paid $88.
No, Austin was. She's like, Memorial Day weekend is this weekend, and I was like, what?
Mango tier.
Are you guys paying any attention? Because I'm not paying that close of attention to this, but the Diddy trial, like I feel like we should be.
God said you're a blonde, Dan. You're excused. But is he a natural blonde?
It's no excuse, and I actually am.
Dan, does the carpet match the drapes?
Not really. A little bit darker. A little bit darker down there. It's more like your hair color, Corey. It's almost like you could picture my pubic hair on your chin right now with that beard. That's pretty much what it looks like.
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there.
Are you paying attention to the Diddy trial? Like I'm like in passing. I
heard a video that was like really graphic and like our audio. I heard audio that was really graphic, but all the comments was it's either Meek Mill or LeBron James, and so this is all alleged, of course. I have to say that. I don't know who it is. I really don't care. It's pretty fucking wild that like the goddamn Alex Joneses of the world with tinfoil hats were out there talking about pedophile rings and sex trafficking rings, and everyone just called him crazy.
Nobody's ever been hit like that.
And now we just keep fucking seeing it. Like it's wild, right?
I
Like,
was only interested in it.
Wasn't Diddy on the phone? He was talking about getting rid of the pizza boxes, like from one of his mansions.
Oh,
where
yeah.
getting raided. And then
know what
like
that
it's all of a
means.
sudden like, oh wait a minute, no, 8 years ago we were talking about Pizzagate, and then some psycho ran into a random pizza parlor and she tried it's like demanding to go into the kitchen, and they're like, nope, that's can't let you do that. Not because
I'm
there's
interested
kids
in
back
all
there, but because that's my job on the line. And
I'm interested in all the stupid stuff because like the stuff where like he would have like weight loss because there's talk about all the pills that he had, right? And like he would have like weight loss drugs or whatever because he would want to drop like 10 pounds really, really fast. And so like stupid stuff like that is
And
what
he
I'm
takes
paying attention
the fat shot drug.
there's a lot of really dark, gross, deep undertones to this shit, man. It makes R. Kelly pissing on people like, well, it's I guess that's normal in the world of porn, in today's world of porn, pissing on each other. It's not my thing. Full disclosure, it's not my thing. And but it makes R. Kelly seem mild, is what I'm saying. And like that was like, whoa, this shit's pretty wild. But
the guy that had underage women locked in a basement. Did I get that right, or did I make that up?
I know it's egregious. I get it. But what I'm saying is, what'd you say?
The girls in R. Kelly's cases were also underage.
Yeah,
I know. I'm not saying what he did is any less egregious. If that's how it came
Very
across.
successful, very rich.
What are you talking about? The urine? But I'm not saying that what R. Kelly did was any less egregious. I'm just saying comparatively, and I understand now looking back and reflecting that it may have came across like that. That's not what I was trying to say.
Yeah, maybe you go down on her, dude. Don't be selfish. Don't be a sexist.
Comparatively, this Diddy shit's just out of fucking control.
I got super interested yesterday when I heard about the Obama face shaped ecstasy pills.
That's so funny.
I was like, oh my God, I don't know why that's so interesting. And then I noticed that I saw the picture of the pills on like all over the place on Twitter, and I couldn't help but notice that the pills, yeah, they definitely look like Obama, but they also oddly look like Casey Kasem for some reason. I don't know how that happened. But it's brought out a whole bunch of like really back in the day old fun conspiracy theories that are just fun. They're just fun for me. It was like there's a whole bunch of tweets about like why is the media not talking about Diddy's meetings with Obama? Like for some reason, like the Obama shaped ecstasy pills like brought out the worst in Twitter conspiracy theories. It's like, you know what? Powerful people do roll with powerful people. That's reality.
Right. And it's also funny, right? Like I remember when there would be different like weed strains and stuff named based on like celebrities and politicians and stuff like that.
Here we go. There are the pills. They look a little bit like Casey Kasem.
Well, the pink one does. The orange one looks, it's so funny because Trump is orange, but the orange one looks like Obama.
Oddly not available in black.
Weirdly, the brown one doesn't. But neither does the blue one or the red one. The red one just looks otherworldly. Looks
terrifying.
Like looks like El Diablo. And then the only one that really looks like Obama to me that pops out and it's like, holy shit, that kind of looks like him. It's like the piss stain that looked like Jesus or Mary and It's Always Sunny. And it looks like Obama.
Yeah, a little bit, but yeah, the pink one definitely looks like Casey Kasem though. But yeah, it's all this. Well, it must be It must be a vast conspiracy that involves Obama. Why would he be taking Obama-shaped
Right.
ecstasy pills? It's like,
because all the drug dealers put their face on the drugs they're distributing.
Yeah, it's like it can't just be that powerful
We're the
people
wet
roll with
bandits.
powerful people. Like Trump, there's plenty of pictures of Trump with Epstein. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this proves absolutely nothing.
Right.
And
because I would bet you $100 without knowing it or looking it up. There are fucking Trump ecstasy pills out there as well, circulated somewhere.
Oh, that's fair. They might be out there.
I'm sure they're out there. Rappers were making before Donald Trump ran for president. Rappers were writing songs like named Donald Trump and referring to Donald Trump. He was a
Ross Ulbricht. If only Ross Ulbricht, now that he's out of prison, could bring back the Silk Road, and we could find out for sure. I'm too old to be in the ecstasy game, Corey.
I am too. I've never done ecstasy.
It doesn't mean you. Okay.
That actually probably surprises you. No, I never have. I never have done ecstasy.
Okay.
My life.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
There are plenty of other substances that I may or may that I have knowledge of. But real talk, yeah, no, never did that one.
So I had the transcript in front of me, but I don't know what happened to it. But so one of Diddy's former assistants was being questioned today, or not today, a couple days ago now. And he said they got the drugs from, what the hell was the guy's name? One Stop? That was the drug dealer. By the way, badass name for a fucking drug dealer.
Yeah.
And so the assistant was saying that, he delivered drugs to all kinds of people. And he was asked, like who? And he goes, oh, like former presidents, like Barack Obama, for example. And it's like, okay. So Barack Obama was doing drugs. Not the worst thing about Barack Obama's life. That's for sure. The indiscriminate bombing of the Middle East, I think I would put up ahead of him buying drugs from One Stop.
Whether or not, like, when the guy is in charge of holding the nuclear codes and doing all of this shit, if he's going to a couple like raves or even because he just dancing in his room with Secret Service rolling, I'm not that upset about it. Trump likes to golf. Bush liked to drink.
But that was the line of questioning.
They all have their crutch, right?
Because after he said that, the prosecution asked him something to the effect of, do you think you would, I can't remember what the question was, but they asked him another question. I wish I had it in front of me. They asked him another question to which the defense objected to, and the judge sustained it. And it brought out all of the old conspiracy theories. It brought out the Obama is gay conspiracy theories. It brought out the Michelle Obama's a man conspiracy theories. It even brought back, Corey, this wonderful gem that you got nostalgic when you heard this song, but it brought this back out.
It did.
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steaming love affair.
Jesus Christ.
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair. Larry looked into the eyes of Obama, the Mac Daddy, and they put a spell on Obama, the Mac Daddy.
This is like
Obama said to Larry, oh, you're just my style and my kind.
Internet.
Oh, you look like just what I want, my man, woman, and half whatever look to look like. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Grammy.
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair in the back of a limo, and then at the Holiday Inn, they had a steaming love affair.
You had to remember the name of the hotel.
Dude,
I don't know how
that was a freestyle.
Which side are you on? Which side are you on?
I don't know how that song didn't win a Grammy. That was how good that was.
Jesus
that
Christ.
Was,
dude, I remember seeing that.
James David Manning from about, I don't know, like 10 years ago.
Oh my god, yeah, dude, and it's some grainy fucking YouTube video, and it was grainy even for the time. Like he did it on like a Windows 95 or something, and I remember hearing that video in my house. Like I had family who like accessed that video, and it wasn't me. And hearing it and being like, "What the fuck is that? Like that sounds like absolutely bonkers and absurd."
It's like 10 minutes long.
Dude, he goes on this whole rant. Like that's the end of it. Like he kind of loses it the most there and starts singing a song, and it's just like, what the fuck is this guy doing?
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair.
God damn it.
James David Manning, when he talked about how Obama was going to destroy the world. And I mean, he certainly helped, just as every president before and since has done. But the red-pilled crowd is on this after the whole objection by the defense at the Diddy trial.
I love how the photo of the E is still up on the screen.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave it up there until we're done talking about this. But the red-pilled crowd's like, are we finally gonna have answers to the crimes of all of these deep state puppets? And it's like, no, no, probably not. We're going to get to this in a little bit, but Kash Patel and Dan Bongino were on Fox News talking with Maria Barmarito, and Meg is not too happy about that one either, in a lot of ways. And to be honest, I don't blame him. But Bell, pull up the video of the very cryptic truth video that he posted about Hillary Clinton's body count on Truth Social right around the same time. Like here we are again. We're back to Hillary's body count, and the president of the United States is still on this. And listen, maybe she did have people killed. This is all shit we're never gonna know. At least not until everybody's long dead. For sure. Go ahead, Bell.
Jr. He was declared the front-runner for the New York Senate seat back in 1999. Days later, his plane crashed into the Atlantic Ocean, and his rival, Hillary Clinton, was elected senator. Mary Mahoney was a Clinton White House intern. She knew enough of the inner workings of Bill's sexual advancements to be a star witness during the Clinton impeachment trials. She was
Trump is literally sitting there
Starbucks she was managing in
and just seeing these videos and going,
1993, White House counsel Bill Foster was found dead in Fort Marcy Park near D.C. He supposedly killed himself, and among a lengthy list of potential foul play, the bullet was never found. Then there's James McDougal, a key witness for White House prosecutors. He was serving his 3-year sentence for bank fraud at the Fort Worth Federal Medical Center in Texas. And just before he was to give a testimony before the grand jury, McDougal suffered a heart attack in solitary confinement. In 2015, Walter Scheib, a White House chef hired under Bill Clinton, joined the list. His body was found at the bottom of a river, nearly 2 miles from the base of the trail he was reportedly hiking. An autopsy determined that Scheib's death was accidental drowning, but he might have known too much. 27-year-old Democratic National Committee staffer Seth Rich was shot and killed in D.C. this year. There is speculation that he was the source of the controversial leaked emails allegedly sent by DNC staffers, and that he may have been murdered in retaliation. Then Sean Lucas, the lead attorney in a fraud case against the DNC, was found lying on the bathroom floor by his girlfriend when she returned home on August 2nd. His death was reported classified, pending the results of an autopsy.
Corey, isn't it weird? Isn't it weird?
So here's the thing, right? All of those deaths and the way that this person's portraying it, right? If they have any shred of credibility, you could probably look it up, and there's probably like an 80% chance that a lot of them are true, right? And it's a video that looks absolutely fucking insane. You know, it's grainy, the audio's terrible. Like it just looks like literally someone put a VHS tape in.
It's like Alex Jones seeing Molech, the owl god.
Right. So
John
like
Ronson.
And so that's the video.
outside,
It's where like someone like you or I would probably watch that video. And then I don't know if you would, but I sometimes get fixated on things like this. And I'll look up I'll pause the video and look up every single individual one to see if it's true or not. And sometimes it's like, son of a bitch. Like, wow, I learned something new. And I guess I have to trust the government a little bit less.
You've done a hell of a lousy job.
And that's like one of those videos. But I would never fucking share that video. The video
Especially
itself
if you're president of the United States.
The video comes off as batshit crazy. Like that's tinfoil hat shit. Even if a lot of it's true, correlation isn't always causation. And I get that we're not fools. We know that our government,
all those deaths were really suspicious.
If our government is doing coups in other countries, they're probably off on people from time to time. It's like, okay, I don't think that's crazy to say. But someone who is sitting there and just trying to connect all the dots and trying to dig a little deeper and doing that type of shit, they don't think I don't know. It's fucking crazy. It's crazy that our president
believed it.
Fucking shared it.
I believe it.
And I'm not saying that you could probably
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
You could probably look all of that up, but that's someone who is digging into that shit. Someone who's just a normie and not constantly diving deep into politics and sees someone just share that video. They're like, this guy's fucking crazy. You know what I mean? And that's the president of the United States sharing that fucking video.
Very presidential. It's very presidential.
Donald Trump is a bad guy. He's a bad person.
I just think it's fun. I didn't mean to dive too much into this. I just think it's fun that we're having a little we're at a point now where it's we have 90s nostalgia for old conspiracy theories from 2007 to 2012. I'm just happy they're back. I'm happy they're back. They were fun then, and they're still fun now. To the point where Larry Sinclair was just on with Tucker Carlson. I did not watch the interview, so I'm not going to pass any judgment on it. I will watch it because that sounds absolutely riveting and gloriously entertaining. But it's the amount of people that ran with the whole Obama is gay narrative because one guy said that he fucked him in 1999 while they were doing blow together.
Isn't that wild? Because there's been one guy or one girl that said Trump has been to Epstein Island, did all this shit, and he's done all these crazy things, and the confirmation bias, and they'll take the credit of this one guy who says, yeah, we did a bunch of blow together in a limo. For all he knows, he's the one that's all fucked up too. He's already admitting to being fucked up. He could be with a Donald Trump impersonator for all we know.
Not to mention,
but
can we talk about this?
Or a Barack Obama impersonator.
With that whole conspiracy from then even till now. Let's just say it's true. Let's say Obama is out there boo-fooing Larry Sinclair in the back of a limo and at a Holiday Inn.
Straight
is that the worst thing about Barack Obama? If he's actually a closeted homosexual and Michelle Obama really is a dude, she's not. But if she really is a dude,
she's not.
He's
probably not gay.
Why is that the thing that people care about? The worst thing about Barack Obama is the fact that he indiscriminately bombed brown people in the Middle East.
To make people, if you argue about that, you're not arguing about him bombing Americans and just starting wars in foreign countries. You're not arguing about the fact that he let 2 million Americans lose their homes while he bailed out the banks.
Very successful, very rich.
And then on top of that, they made one of the actual industries that produces things in our country grovel. Did the banks even have to show up? They probably showed up. They probably had to show up. But it seemed like it was a bigger deal about bailing out an actual industry. But the banks, no problem. Take the money.
Making healthcare more expensive.
The rest of you, here's an extra $25 on your check for my stimulus plan. Remember, that's what he fucking did. It was $25.
Making healthcare more expensive while saying he was going to make it cheaper, and any economist worth their salt knows that it's bullshit.
Larry goes, he got Osama bin Laden.
He did catch Osama bin Laden. Good for him. You know, that's like Biden ended the Afghanistan war. Like even shitty war criminals do good things sometimes. But yeah, the indiscriminate bombing of the Middle East, contributing to the absolute destruction of any sort of decorum in the Middle East. It started with taking out Saddam Hussein, who was a piece of shit, but also created a power vacuum, and then on and on and on. The 7 nations in 5 years deal.
Yeah, it's funny how we did that, right? Like Libya.
It's like this whole thing
weapons, we'll leave you alone, and then they give up their nuclear weapons, and we assassinate their leader, and then everyone's like, "Why isn't Korea or Iran giving up their nuclear weapons?"
Gee, I don't know, because everybody else has.
I don't know.
Speaking of which, I guess we can move on to this, because remember how last week we were talking about how bipolar our show is, and we give Trump credit, then we shit on him, then we give him credit. It's like week to week, it always changes based on who was the last person to step out of the Oval Office. But apparently the war with Iran is back on. I do apologize, Bill. I'm going to have you go a little bit out of order on these.
See, I think Larry agrees about there's no way Obama was gay, because he doesn't think a gay person would do that.
There you go. So he definitely wasn't gay. Still alive. I'm talking about him like he's dead. Steve Witkoff was on ABC Sunday Morning? I can't remember which ABC show he was on. And I'm gonna let Bell play the video here, because
Barack Obama was in fact not gay.
So he is now.
No. Don't twist my words.
We talking about past tense. Go ahead and roll the Steve Witkoff video here, Bell, because I find this interesting, because last week we weren't going to war with Iran. Negotiations in the Middle East were going great. Netanyahu was pissed. Ben Shapiro was pissed, which meant, the right things were happening. I bet you Ben Shapiro is really happy about what Steve Witkoff is going to say in this video.
Well, the president has been very clear. He wants to solve this conflict diplomatically and with dialogue. And he's given all the signals. He's directly sent letters to the supreme leader. I have been dispatched to deliver that message as well, and I've delivered it. But on the other hand, we have one very, very clear red line, and that is enrichment. We cannot allow even 1% of an enrichment capability. We've delivered a proposal to the Iranians that we think addresses some of this without disrespecting them. And so that's important. We want to get to a solution here, and we think that we will be able to. But everything begins from our standpoint, John, with a deal that does not include enrichment. We cannot have that, because enrichment enables weaponization, and we will not allow a bomb to get here.
So here's what I'm going to say about this. I really, really find that convenient. And I thought Steve Witkoff, honestly, was doing an amazing job with negotiations in the Middle East, with getting the initial ceasefire in Gaza before Trump was even in the White House. All of the discussions with Ukraine and Putin, and actually getting Trump and Putin to speak, I thought, with each other, which Biden and
they never
spoke.
Never
did. They never spoke.
Once. Not once.
But I do find what Steve Witkoff said here to be very, very, very convenient, where he goes,
so
enrichment, hold on. And you tell me what you think, Corey. Enrichment is a red line. Now, here's the way I hear that. This is a situation where we in the West and Israel can go, we had to go to war with Iran. Look, we negotiated and they wouldn't take any deals.
It's almost
we
like
tried.
All the pieces are being moved.
Yeah, we tried diplomacy. We tried. All we said was you can't enrich your uranium. Not even 1%. And they just wouldn't do it. So we had to bomb them. We had to go to war with them. You see this game that they always fucking play? See how they always do this?
It's the same thing. If that's how this is going, it's the same thing that we bitched about when it came to the Democrats. When we would talk about, and the Republicans do this too. They campaign on like a policy or a reform or even a restriction type of like platform, right? They promise this, and then they go in and they write a bill. And the bill ends up being so big on purpose because they didn't really want it. Right? Like the Stock Act, right? Like, look, the Stock Act is the perfect example. A clear-cut bill. We want to know how every representative votes on this. A clear-cut bill. Should politicians stop doing insider trading or just trading on the stock market, right?
Insider trading. You said it right the first time.
Yeah. Just clear-cut bill. Yes or no?
Very
no matter how they
successful, very
vote,
rich.
no matter how they vote, we at least have a clear, concise answer on how they feel about it. And then you remember that when you hit the voting booth. But they never do that. Everyone piles on the bill with a shit ton of other little, like pork fat and earmarks and a shit ton of other pieces on it. Like, well, I'll vote for that, but you have to add this. And then they go, well, I'll vote for that, but you have to add this. And then all of a sudden the bill becomes this fucking nasty mess where none of them are happy with it. And they all vote no. And then the party that was trying to push that platform, policy, restriction, whatever, they just go, oh, well, shucks, I tried for you guys. And everyone goes, oh, you're right. You tried. Thank you. He tried. His sycophants, all the sycophants go, but he tried.
And then Mitch McConnell walks outside towards a flight of stairs.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yep.
I thought this was America. Huh? Isn't this America? I'm sorry. I thought this was America.
and you know what? Honestly, Corey, this all tracks because I'm going to have Bell pull up the next video, which is the General Wesley Clark. We've played this before on the show, but I don't think you can ever play this enough. This is the seventh nation of the 7 nation in 5 years. Now it's taken longer than 5 years. Iraq has fallen, Syria has fallen, Lebanon has fallen, Libya has fallen, Somalia has fallen, and Sudan has fallen. That leaves one left. And it is Iran. Now, you don't have to believe what the Ayatollah of Iran says, but I don't think it's crazy to listen to what he says, which is that he doesn't have any interest in nuclear weapons. He has interest in nuclear power. And I can totally understand why the leader of a country would be like, yeah, you're not going to tell me that I can't enrich any uranium.
Right. And then you really so I'm really trying, in this moment, I'm really trying to put myself in the shoes of everybody. You would also understand why Iran would want nuclear weapons. It gives them a seat at the table. I take them serious.
I will throw just a little caveat on that, Corey. I don't know that they want nuclear weapons, but I think they want
the ability to.
I think they want I think they don't want the West telling them that they can't. Because here's the deal with
right. Because if you're a sovereign nation,
yeah, everybody knows this. You can't use nuclear weapons. Right. Everybody know, the whole mutually assured destruction, which I still believe in that concept. Everybody knows that when one nation launches a nuke, we're all dead at that point.
Right.
And so
right. But when you have nuclear weapons, the whole world actually pays attention to your grievances.
Yeah. It does, just so
you can understand why, right? That's why North Korea did it. That's why he's still in power. You know what I mean?
Well, and he's also, he's backed by China.
Backed by China, sure. It's a proxy
Rocket Man's backed by China.
Yeah, it's a proxy state to China, just like how Israel is a proxy state to America. That's buttoned up.
Oh, I think you might have that. I think you might have that backwards, Corey.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
Yeah, the United States is a proxy state to Israel.
So I still believe that America
Tell
is
me you can't
doing
make that argument.
No, you can make that argument, but ultimately, I still feel like America still sees it as an American interest to keep Israel stringing along. I really do.
Netanyahu is just smarter than
Yeah, no, Netanyahu
US
in
president.
the current, in the last 8, 15, 20 years, yes, America has been played a little bit of a fool. But I still think it's just like Saudi Arabia. You know what I mean? The exact opposite polar spectrum of the religions, of the ideologies, and on the exact opposite. Saudi Arabia is on the other end of the Middle East compared to Israel and Iran, right? I think they're far apart from each other. I feel like there's a few countries in the middle, right?
You struggling with your Middle Eastern map?
My Middle Eastern map, yeah. No, you remember in 7th and 8th grade, we got taught the European map, we got taught the American map, but they didn't teach us
This
fucking Africa, Middle East, or
I'm
South America.
I'm glad you brought up Saudi Arabia though, because it's like
It sometimes seems like Saudi Arabia is playing us for a fool as well, just as much
they
as
are.
Israel was. When Trump's
absolutely
first
are.
presidency, and even when Biden was in presidency, before October 7th kicked off, remember, we used to talk about how Saudi Arabia was playing America like a fiddle.
Yeah. And I find it, I just don't understand how when you just look at the whole nuclear situation from just a matter of principle, totally cool. Totally cool if Pakistan and India and Saudi Arabia and Great Britain and Israel, even though they say they don't have any, it's all totally cool. Totally cool if they have nuclear weapons because they play nice with the United States.
We don't like them having them, but that's why we made a concerted effort when India and Pakistan were just having a little squabble on their border, but yet other countries have big gunfights all the time and we don't give a shit when they're not nuclear armed. So and I guess that's the very important context of this kind of a quagmire of a situation we're in. If you can completely understand why Iran would want the possibility to make a nuclear weapon or have one, and then at the same time completely understand why America and all these other countries do not want them even having the possibility to do it, then you start to understand why this just seems like kind of complicated. And then
but isn't it simple?
There has to be major concessions on either side, and you can't come into this acting like you're the bully. And that's what Iran feels like right now. They feel like they're being bullied.
Either
we're back to square one.
Either everybody has nukes or everybody doesn't have nukes.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it is, dude.
It's just if you're looking at it from a matter of principle.
And
Go ahead and roll that video, Bell.
Nobody will ever give them up again because of Libya.
Oh yeah, that Libya model.
10 days after 9/11, I went through the Pentagon and
it's so weird how much he sounds like George W. Bush.
And Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went downstairs just to say hello to some of the people on the Joint Staff who used to work for me. And one of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you got to come in. You got to come in and talk to me a second." I said, "Well, you're too busy." He said, No. He says, "We've made the decision. We're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq. Why?" He said, "I don't know." He said, "I guess I don't know what else to do."
Hilarious.
So
right.
I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al Qaeda?" He said, No. He says, "There's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we've got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later.
Hey, pause that real quick.
And by that,
he's talking about George W. saying that stuff, right? Or what was
I think he was just talking to the Joint Chiefs of Staff and
the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Yeah, that's what it was, right? And the fact that they just said when you're looking at every problem like a hammer, like they all knew. Like they basically said the quiet part out loud, like we really don't know what to do. when you don't know what to do, you kind of just go back to where you started, right? Like,
Corey, isn't that kind of the point?
What's the Grandpa Alphonse or like from? Yeah, this is a really niche reference, right, to the movie Escanaba in the Moonlight. But when he says, when you don't know where to go, you start from the beginning. Like basically,
I've seen that movie once, and it was years ago.
Yeah, but that's what he is. Like great old Grandpa Alphonse used to say, or whatever it was. If you don't know where to go, you start from the beginning. And it sounds absurd, right? But it's like, just pause. Just
isn't that kind of the
for a minute?
Isn't that kind of the point though here, Corey? Because you have this video, everybody knows at this point, like even the neoconiest of neocons, which Mark Levin now just says is a pejorative for Jew because he's an idiot. The neoconiest of neoconservatives, even they admit that we were lied into a war with Iraq. We were lied into a long-standing war with the Taliban and Al-Qaeda. And yet they're using the same fucking playbook again to get this 7 nations in 5 years, although it's, been 7 nations now in 20 years, to get it done. And you still have morons. And I don't even know if they're morons or if this is like just what they want because they love war, that are actually pushing for a war with Iran. They're using the same playbook. They're just spouting lies again. Iran does not have nukes. It's so interesting how people always go, well, when people tell you something, you should believe them. Unless Iran tells you that they don't actually want nukes, they just don't want to be told that they can't have nukes. Pretty simple, right? Like imagine if Iran or like China or Russia said, hey, United States, you gotta knock down your nuclear arsenal within like 3 years. That's, by the way, that's our red line. We won't negotiate with you anymore if you don't knock down your nuclear arsenal to like whatever it is, 10 bombs. Or our discussions are over. And then when we don't do it because, hey, fuck off, they go, well, we tried to negotiate. We tried. Now we have to bomb the United States. Just flip it in reverse and tell me how fucking stupid and ridiculous it sounds. But not when it's anywhere in the Middle East, not when it's anywhere that Israel can't play nice with. Go ahead and finish the video, Bell.
That time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, are we still going to war with Iraq? And he said, oh, it's worse than that. He said, he reached over on his desk, he picked up a piece of paper. He said, I just got this down from upstairs, meaning the Secretary of Defense's office today. And he said, this is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran.
Yeah, that's it. That's the end of it. There's only one country left, Corey. Remember what I said a few weeks ago? They're going to do this. And I thought, like, the bipolar nature of the Trump administration, and I'm not even saying that as like a pejorative, because sometimes that bipolar nature of the Trump administration results in some good things. Last week we thought that was the case. Now
it just doesn't make any sense.
Now it makes perfect sense.
I mean actually taking down Iran just objectively, it just doesn't make any sense to me.
It doesn't. The only reason we're doing it is because Israel can't play nice with them. That's it. It's the only reason why. So again, back to who's the puppet state? Is it the United States or is it Israel?
Until it actually happens,
This one worries me a little bit because I do think Steve Witkoff has done such a good job up until this point, for all the reasons that I mentioned. His negotiations with the ceasefire in Gaza the first time, obviously it didn't last because Israel broke it. Is getting the president to talk to Putin. By the way, what kind of redheaded stepchild do you think Zelensky feels like right now?
Yeah, it's
don't forget
amazing.
about me. Yeah, that's Zelensky's phone line as we speak. But yeah, this is fuck, dude. We might come back next week, and I might say, "Oh, looks like the war's off again," or is this part of the game? Like, are they just going to keep playing with us to make us think that they're going to war with Iran, and then they're not, and then they are?
Me personally, what I think is it's basically at the same place it was before. Because when you were listening to people talk about this in the very beginning, everyone was like, yeah, this is going to be a tough negotiation because Iran definitely wants this, and America thinks, no, they shouldn't. But they're all talking, and everyone's figuring it out. Well, it sounds like all of a sudden the talking is going to take a little bit longer. So, like, everyone's like, oh, that's it. Like, that's we're going to war. And it's like, but it's not worse than it was before. It's still better.
The only thing that
is the weird pressure from Israel, but America's already like,
it's not even, well, I mean, it's that, but you know, that's just kind of par for the course at this point. The thing that Steve Witkoff said in that interview, the only thing that really, really, really stood out to me that I find extraordinarily dangerous is red line at less than 1% enrichment of uranium.
Sure, but that's been the same policy for fucking ever. Well, this is what I'm saying. Iran is never going to attack America. But I really don't want America to attack Iran. And I based on like the negotiations, taking longer, and now there's a red line and all of that shit is the same narrative we have also had against Iran since like the mid-90s. So I guess I'm just not being an alarmist about this.
Basically since the Shah was overthrown.
What, the 50s? No, the Shah was overthrown in the 70s.
70s, yeah.
The 50s is when we overthrew their democratically elected president and installed a king. Yeah. And then ever since then, it's just been really bad blood with Iran.
Not so good.
Hey, who did we do that for? What company?
Company? Oh, well, company or country, kind of the same thing when it comes to this. Israel?
No.
Oh, company. Oh, okay. You're talking about actual.
Why did we overthrow the Democratic?
Oh, it was for the oil.
British Petroleum specifically.
Yeah, for BP.
Yep.
Yeah, it's for the oil.
British Petroleum, and again, fucking Great Britain, just fucking everything up in the Middle East, and
we gotta go clean up their mess.
In America, that is this oligarchy that it is with the government that we have, has one foot in and going, yeah, we still want that oil, but also like, hey, we also want peace. And the special interests and then this feigned interest of the American people are over there just butting heads, and it's not making it any better. And that's the Middle East.
You want to talk about Bernie throwing the Democratic Party under the bus?
Bernie Sanders destroys the
Democratic Party. He was talking to Andrew Schultz on his show. I'm gonna have Bell pull up the video. I don't have a ton of notes on this because I didn't think I needed to take a lot of notes on this, because this is the frustrating thing. What you're about to see, this is the frustrating thing about Bernie Sanders. And it should frustrate you, especially if you're a leftist, a genuine leftist, a real leftist, not a limousine liberal, but a real leftist. This is what should frustrate you, because this was your guy in 2016. I liked him, and I wasn't even necessarily a leftist at the time.
I wouldn't have considered myself.
Nor am I still.
But it was. But I was 100% for Bernie in 2016.
Dude, this is just another notch in the belt of like leftists get it. Like they get the problems. They're really shitty on what the solutions are, but they at least understand the problems. And Bernie still somewhere underneath gets it, but he just falls in line and plays the game. Like if Bernie were the leftist version of what Thomas Massey is, oh my God, the amount of power that man could hold. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Massey is obviously like the libertarian, like, fuck these people. I'm not taking any of their money. I'm not taking money from AIPAC. I'm not taking money from lobbyists. I am going to govern and I am going to represent my constituents in the way that they want me to represent them. Not to gain power, not to gain access, not to gain money like everybody fucking else in Washington does, including Bernie, when it's convenient for him. Like, that's the spot where Bernie messed up. But when he talked to Andrew Schultz here, he said what we all know, what he knows deep down. But what did he do? He fucking cucked out to the establishment. Go ahead and roll it, Bill.
And we felt that over the last 4 elections, Democrats, we felt that we didn't have a say on who could be president. We talk a lot about the Republicans being autocrats and oligarchs and taking over democracy, but from the Democrat perspective, and I'm a lifelong Democrat, I felt like the Democratic Party completely removed the democratic process from its constituents. And I think they need to have some accountability of that.
No argument here.
I donated for you. I mean, I wanted you to, like, 2016. I was like, this is going to happen. This guy's going to do it, and it felt like they stole it from me. And I'll be honest, it broke my heart when you supported him.
Look, but you have, in the world that I live in, you got a choice. And I mean, a lot of people, including my wife, agree with you. But you're down to a choice. Is it going to be Hillary Clinton or is it going to be Donald Trump? Not a great choice.
Mrs. Sanders is a smart lady.
So why don't we burn it down?
Well, because it's easy to say burning it down means that children are not going to have, food to eat, that the schools will deteriorate, people will not have health care.
I got it.
And I'm an elected
fuck
official.
Are you talking about, Bernie?
That's fair. And I can't turn my back on.
But then could we not also say, if ostensibly there hasn't been a fair primary for the Democrats since 2008, are they not also a threat to democracy? Yes. We often hear.
Fair enough. That is, yeah, I'm not going to argue with that point. And that's why I'm proudly an independent.
How interesting is that? But then he does that whole thing where he cops out to like, well, I'm not really a Democrat. I'm actually an independent.
And that's what's the most frustrating part, dude. That's what is the most frustrating part. Is I'm 30 minutes into that podcast, and he is still like, this was recorded a couple days ago, like very like cognizant, like he's there, he's present, he's talking about his childhood, he's talking about all these different things and spouting things off, and it's just when he's talking about the fundamental problem of just the American person getting fucked over in our country through the oligarchy and a corrupt government, Citizens United, things like that. He is just so on point. But then when it comes to the big stage, he just fucking bends over for the Democratic Party every time.
That and I'm not going to give Schultz a whole lot of shit because, he's not really an interviewer. He's Andrew Schultz. We love him. And I wish had it been somebody else, he would have pushed back a little bit when Bernie goes, when Schultz goes, Trump won anyway, so why not burn it down? And then Bernie goes, well, if we burn it down, that poor people and children, they won't have health care or they won't have food. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? I don't think that's the question Andrew Schultz was asking. What Andrew Schultz was asking is why not burn down what the Democratic Party is, which is what every leftist is really wanting, because they realize how shitty that fucking party is. The Republicans are going to Republican. Okay, we know this. It's this whole thing of like, oh, we have to vote for this shitty Democrat because of this horrible thing that Republicans are going to do. But the thing about Republicans is, and this is in a weird way why I have a little bit more respect for that party than I have for Democrats, you know what they're going to do. You always know what they're going to do. They don't lie to you. They're always they're the ones that are like, yeah, we're going to get rid of abortion. We want a national abortion ban. Or we want to get rid of Roe v. Wade. Guess what they did? They found a way to, they did this thing where they cared a lot more about when they went to the ballot box, voting for candidates and voting for presidents that had a chance to put in more conservative judges. Why? Because they wanted to overturn Roe v. Wade. And then everybody was all up in arms. Like, I can't believe Roe v. Wade was overturned. It's like, really? You can't believe Roe v. Wade was overturned because these people did exactly what they've been telling you they were going to do for the last 50 years? In a weird way, like, Republicans are kind of honest in that way.
Well,
they tell you exactly what they're
right?
going to do.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. I dislike Republicans because they'll tell you they're going to shoot you in the face.
Yeah, I don't like their worldview.
I dislike Democrats because every time they'll shoot you in the back.
They stab you in the back. That's
not profound. I'm not making that up. That's a saying that's been, like, Malcolm X, I think, is one of the ones who said that. But
they're cheating, they're crooked, they're corrupt.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Trump.
And Bernie just fell. Yeah, and Bernie just fell right into the game of, well, it's the lesser of two evils. Where I had to support Secretary Clinton at the time, because if I didn't, then Donald Trump was going to become president of the United States. And Schultz's point was like, yeah, and he did anyway. It's like, Bernie, if you just operated based on a matter of principles, even if they're your leftist principles. I have so much, I disagree with a lot of Bernie Sanders' worldview. I disagree with a lot of his policy. I don't think Medicare for all is going to be a very good system, or it's at least going to be, it's going to have some give and take with it. Like, there are going to be shittier things about our healthcare system if we have Medicare for all. I know, honestly, I know Democrats don't like to talk about that, but
so real quick, I was thinking about this the other day because, like, we talked about this last week, right? With the protectionist, protectionist policies around pharmacy, and like people like Bernie Sanders. I mean, like, he is clearly demonstrating, like, the problem and expressing it. Our medical system is fucked up because we have insurance. But instead of adding more government, what if you could make it to where you could just buy insurance from Canada? Or buy insurance from the UK,
or
you all of a sudden make this really big fucking pool. Like, obviously, it comes with the caveat of buyer beware. If you go and buy some fucking insurance from China, you might not have the best insurance.
Or just getting rid of the red tape and making it easier to compete in the health insurance business. Like, this is the thing that people don't understand. They point to the wrong thing. Health insurance is too expensive. I think everybody would agree. I don't think there's an American on planet Earth right now that would say that health insurance is super affordable.
So stop mandating insurance companies that have to, like, offer this, and this. Let insurance companies pop up that they offer just emergencies. Like, no questions asked. It doesn't matter if you're snowboarding. It doesn't matter if you're longboarding. It doesn't matter if
that's
you're
the thing. Is like,
it doesn't matter if it's any of that. It's just $100 a month. You're a healthy person. If you have an emergency, whether it's like pneumonia, a cold, or anything that you feel deemed brings you to the ER, you're covered.
It's not.
If you offered an insurance like that, all of a sudden you would have so much, like, it would collapse the whole, like, tax break of insurance, because you have so many young people who are super healthy that are getting these lower wage jobs, and they're letting $100, $200, $300, like, the insurance is fucking expensive, that they're paying for for just the what ifs
that they don't need.
But as far as I know with Obamacare, like the insurance companies, they have to cover a plethora of everything. There isn't just like, and any place I've worked in, there's never been just like, hey, this is the what if plan. You're a young, healthy person. You don't have doctor's appointments. You don't have prescriptions. You don't have to go to the pharmacy. You don't need to see the doctor.
All you need,
make sure
all
you
you
get
need
those
if you're
filled.
young and healthy, is an annual physical. All you need if you're young and healthy is an annual physical.
You might not
Emergency.
even need that.
I would say that should be included, but okay, let's say that's not included. But I'm going to go with annual physical. I'm going to go with emergency room care and like a serious illness care, because young people unfortunately do still get illnesses like cancer and things like that.
You're adding bureaucracy. No, it's just if you're sick, if you feel that sick, you go to ER, and that's just emergency care.
No, but that would be like a really basic thing.
Yeah.
And then
if someone's a hypochondriac and they're dealing with that, you give them the ability to go, well, this isn't the insurance plan for you. We can offer you this because you're going to ER every other week.
Yeah, and you also have to factor in like the over specialization, like the fact that I have to go to my primary care physician if I have whatever it is, a fucking boil on my thigh. I can't
get the
recommendation to go to a dermatologist, and it's like, no, I have a skin issue. Can I just fucking book an appointment with a goddamn dermatologist? You know what I'm saying? Like it's the dumb red tape, and that's what makes me so mad about like the Luigi Mangione thing. It's like, oh yeah, these health insurance companies, they're awful. We got to kill the CEO. It's like that's not it. That's not it. It's the bureaucracy. It's the lobbyists.
Yeah.
It's the fact that you are essentially forced to go with one of these health insurance plans because Corey and I are not allowed to go and start our own health insurance company. And by the way, this is not a sponsor. I want to no.
Dad, I don't have the capital to start an insurance company.
This is not a sponsor. There's a
landscaping company, maybe.
There's a group called Crowd Health. It's not a sponsor of the show. I just like the concept of it, where it's essentially a crowdfunding organization where you pay in a certain amount of money every month. And it's way less than health insurance. And if you get sick or you get injured, all of the people's crowdfunding funds covers your hospital bills. So like say you, me, and Belle, we all pay in $50 a month. If I get hurt, the money that you guys have put in help pay for my injuries. If you guys get hurt, my money helps pay for your injuries. Like, it's a really simple fucking concept. I think it's brilliant. Again, not a sponsor, but maybe check it out if you're sick of paying for health insurance. Like, that's so simple to me. Because essentially that's what health insurance kind of is, right? It's supposed to be just like a crowd-funded amount of money that everybody pays in. And when you get sick or hurt, they cover your hospital bills. That's what it's supposed to be. It's not supposed to be about turning a massive profit. But yeah, so it's not the insurance companies, guys.
Yeah, no, it was
as evil as they are. It's the government. It's the government bureaucracy that's involved. I don't know how we got on health insurance again, but it's one thing that really pisses both of us off.
Yeah, it's going off on Bernie.
Medicare for all, but I do find
and that's the thing
did
too,
call out
like,
the Democratic Party.
I've never like personally like really felt the pain other than like it hurting my pocketbook a little bit, because I've always just had really good insurance. As soon as I turned 18, like I've always worked in factories, and factories typically offer like really good insurance.
Do you think Joe Biden had good health insurance when he discovered his cancer diagnosis?
I would unequivocally say at this point that I have better insurance than Joe Biden. He had prostate cancer from between 2 to 10 years. And nobody knew.
That's the part that boggles my mind, and
they hid it from this. It's either nobody knew, or they hid it.
there's
And I guess we'd have to
definitely,
ask Jake Tapper, right?
this whole thing kind of adds to the conspiracy theory that Biden wasn't really running the country. I think at least just a little bit by a couple of points. Don't know if that's true, but it certainly gives a little bit more credence to that conspiracy theory.
You
because
can see, so subtract Biden from it, I just add any president, and like, because the other one I think of, like, when it comes to this kind of stuff is like George W. Bush, who's a Republican, not a Democrat.
Is he?
The way the administration, the whole thing is set up, and like the bureaucracy of it, of the executive branch, you can easily see how any president can just go on just get a little case of senior, what was it called? Senior fever or senioritis in high school, where it's just like you're kind of just coasting through just to make it because the end zone is just so close. You could see how any president could be set up to just run like that. Like, yeah.
How does a sitting U.S. president end up with stage 3 to stage 4 prostate cancer?
Stage 3 to stage 9.
Yeah. Trump called it stage 9. I'm not going to have Bell play that video. It's kind of dumb. Yeah, Trump called it stage 9. But how does a sitting U.S. president...
Stage 9 cancer. You're literally sounding like Trump right now. He's like, I don't even know Walter Reed. I don't even know if he went to Walter Reed. Those are great doctors.
Great
Play
hospital.
the video. You should play the video.
Yeah, well, it's expensive to go there too.
I just paid $88.
All right, Bell, go ahead. But before you run the video, I want to set this up, but you can go ahead and get it ready, Bell.
Oh man, I don't know what this one is.
No. Well, he can play this one too, because actually play this one first, because this is the video that everybody's talking about where Biden a couple of years ago slipped up and said that he had cancer. And I mean, it was one of those things where like the staff would come out and be like, oh, he slipped up. It was a gaffe. He didn't mean to say that. But it looks like maybe he probably did slip up.
Okay, so I haven't seen this.
He wasn't supposed to say it.
Is he in Port Huron there? Or is he in like Oregon?
I think he's in Delaware. I think he's in his home state. But I have to ask the question: how does a sitting U.S. president end up with stage 3 to stage 4 cancer that metastasizes to his bones? And you're getting this whole thing. Oh, it was just discovered. He didn't have it back then. But like, all you got to do is do like a small dive into prostate cancer. We as guys, right? Me, you, Bell, we're both men. This is something we're going to have to worry about right as we get a little bit older.
Soon, boys.
No, you don't have to worry in like our mid 40s. But even in the most aggressive cases of prostate cancer, you guys can look this up. You don't have to take my word for it. The most aggressive cases of prostate cancer take 2 to 5 years to metastasize if untreated. Now, the report is that this has already metastasized to his bones, which, by the way, guys, Joe Biden's going to be dead within a year. If he's got bone cancer, he's done. It's over. Slow-growing cases of prostate cancer can remain localized for 10 to 15 years. So best case, I should say worst case scenario is that he has a very aggressive form of prostate cancer. It takes 2 to 5 years to metastasize to the bones, which, by the way, is the most common area that prostate cancer metastasizes to. That means he had prostate cancer when he's president. Right? Or is my math off here?
No. Trump's only been president for 3.5 months or so. No, 3 months. 3 months and a day, give or take. You know what I mean? Based on the calendar, January 20th to May 20th.
Well, over 100 days.
Yeah.
Go ahead and roll this video, Bill. It's the one everybody's talking about.
And because it was a 4-lane highway that was accessible, my mother drove us, and rather than us be able to walk. And guess what? The first frost, you know what was happening? It had to put on their windshield wipers to get literally the oil slick off the window. That's why I and so damn many other people I grew up have cancer. And why can't for the longest time, Delaware had the highest cancer rate in the nation. And because it was a 4-lane highway.
No shit.
Yeah. But you know, it was passed off as a gaffe. Who the fuck knows what to believe anymore?
My God, was his whole entire presidency just a puppet?
That's the conspiracy theory, right? And I think
The
there's
whole
I
auto
think-
pen thing. Like, oh my God, dude.
Go ahead and pull up the next one, Bell. This is Trump reacting to Biden's cancer diagnosis. And I'm going to say this. Pay close attention, because I think Trump comes about as close as like a Trump could ever come to kind of defending Joe Biden a little bit. Go ahead,
I think it's
Bill.
very sad, actually. I'm surprised that it wasn't, the public wasn't notified a long time ago, because to get to stage 9, that's a long time.
Stage 9?
I just when you saw the results of that particular test, I think that test is standard to pretty much anybody getting a physical, good physical. We had the doctors at the White House and over at Walter Reed, which is a fantastic hospital. I do it. I did a very complete physical, including cognitive tests. I'm proud to announce I aced it. Got them all. I got them all right. Proud of me. Yes, the husband would be proud of me for getting them all right. It's a little risky. But
I got them all right. I aced
it would be not a good situation. But I think frankly,
Let's do
anybody
it
running for
for-
president should take a cognitive test. They say it's unconstitutional, but I would say in that particular case, having a cognitive test
I
wouldn't be
love
so
how it's
bad.
always they
But,
and them with him. Yeah.
When you take tests,
Who's they?
medical
Who's them?
as a male, that test is very standard. I don't know if it's given to everybody, but it's given just about. And it takes a long time to get to that situation. Now, I think, to get to a stage 9, I think that if you take a look, it's the same doctor that said that Joe was cognitively fine. There was nothing wrong with him. Well, he said, if it's the same doctor, he said there was nothing wrong there, and that's being proven to be a sad situation. And the auto pen is becoming a very big deal. The auto pen is becoming a big deal because it seems like maybe it was the president who ever operated the auto pen. But when they say that was not good, they also, you have to look and you have to say then the test was not so good either. In other words, there are things going on that the public wasn't informed. And I think somebody's going to have to speak to his doctor, if it's the same, or even if it's 2 separate doctors. Why wasn't the cognitive ability, why wasn't that discussed? And I think the doctor said he's just fine, and it's turned out that's not so. It's very dangerous. Look, this is no longer politically correct. This is dangerous for our country. Look at the mess we're in. You're talking about all these questions on Ukraine and Russia that would have never happened. As an example, if I were president, it would have never happened. The other thing is you have to say, why did it take so long? I mean, this takes a long time, can take years to get to this level of danger. So it's a very, very sad situation. I feel very badly about it. And I think people should try and find out what happened, because I'll tell you, I don't know if it had anything to do with the hospital. Walter Reed is really good. They're some of the best doctors I've ever seen. I don't even know if they were involved, but a doctor was involved in each case. Maybe it was the same doctor, and somebody is not telling facts.
He did the weave there, right? I call it the weave.
You know what I love about, I mean, love, hate, I guess, about Trump is like he does this thing where he's trying to express how badly he feels about Joe Biden, but he can't say that. But then he always finds a way to pivot to make it about how much better he is than Joe Biden.
I know.
like you're talking about a man who has
stage 9 prostate cancer.
Stage 9 prostate cancer in his bones. He's going to die soon. And he still finds a way to make it well, I'm going to outlive Joe. I'm very healthy. I'm very cognitively good. Great doctors at Walter Reed. They told me I was good. I aced the cognitive test. But at the same time, that's the closest Trump can possibly come to being like, poor Joe. I really feel bad for him. It's a terrible, dangerous situation.
You've done a hell of a lousy job.
Right. It's just
Donnie, you're out of your element.
Yeah. But yeah, the things that kind of add to the conspiracy theory, if you want to call it that, of Biden not running the nation. I mean, honestly, the auto pen contributes, although presidents have been using auto pens for a while. Is you have the obvious cognitive decline of Joe Biden that idiots like the three of us all saw, that the media just brushed under the rug. We just shit on Jake Tapper last week. We invite you to go back and listen to last week's episode if you haven't heard it. You have Biden being unseated by the Democrats and replaced by Kamala Harris, and what is maybe the most undemocratic move ever made by a political party in the United States.
What? Not holding a democratic process?
Yeah, weird, isn't it?
Wow, you're okay, idealist.
Oh yeah, idea.
This fucking idealist over here.
And
I'm only a cynic because I'm just a broken-hearted idealist. What's up, George Carlin?
And then now we find out he was literally rotting out from cancer during his presidency.
And they give RFK shit for brain worms.
Oh my God. Yeah. And now it's yeah, even Trump defending him.
They're tiny worms. They're not big worms. I've seen big worms.
They're just small worms. We can do something about them. The test that Trump was talking about was the PSA test, which the three of us are young enough that we don't really have to worry about this just yet. But hey, look, we're both getting older. All three of us are getting older.
So you're telling me he's just bragging about basically passing a vision test?
More or less.
Or like a sound test? Because you know what, I was thinking about that the other day. For blind people, the only video games they really have are like the sound test you get at the ear doctor. Oh, left here, right here. It's like,
That's what I was talking about. Prostate specific antigen, Corey.
Oh, they're talking about the mental. I'm sorry. Okay. That whole thing was, I thought it was the mental acuity test. I was like, yeah, people like us could pass it. I was like, yeah, that makes sense.
PSA is a protein produced by the prostate gland, present in the bloodstream. PSA levels are commonly used as a screening tool for prostate cancer, but they can also indicate other conditions like benign prostatic hyperplasia or prostatasis. So PSA levels by age. If you're under 40, that's us. Typically, we should be below 1 nanogram per milliliter. Between 40 and 54, generally below 2.5 nanograms per milliliter. Between 55 and 69 should be below 4 nanograms per milliliter. But 70 plus can be higher due to natural prostate enlargement. So basically, this is a test that I guess they kind of stopped giving it to men over 70 because it doesn't show like it's just so inconclusive. But I would think, like, I know Joe Biden's, what is he, 72, 74? How old is he now? I don't even know. No, he's in his 80s now, isn't he? How the fuck old is Joe Biden? I don't even know.
Well, look that up.
But,
I don't even know anymore.
I will do that, but quick question. Milliliter of what?
Just milliliter.
Blood.
The anal fluid, I guess.
It's blood?
Oh, blood.
Blood
yes,
test.
yes, blood.
Okay. Joe Biden is and was 82.
That's what I thought. Okay, I was off by 10 whole years. But
you think he'll make it to his birthday, November 20th?
Yeah, he probably will.
You're doing over under?
That's so dark. I mean,
it seems morbid. But you know what? I'll play. I'll take the over. I think I'll get past that.
All right.
Yeah.
The under. For the sake of fun.
I'll bet you a beer.
All right, sold.
Oh my God, I can't believe we really just bet on Joe Biden's longevity.
I know. And
you're welcome.
For the record, I didn't, but it's only because it was like playing musical chairs and I didn't know what chair to sit in, and everyone else got seats and I got pushed out.
You can still 2-1. We can do this.
A 2-1.
2-1 odds. Somebody's getting 2-1.
Come on, Corey.
Over.
All right. So Bell is rooting so hard for Joe Biden to die.
for 2 beers. Because if he loses, he has to buy 2 beers.
Oh God, we are horrible people.
Welcome to Luke's
horrible. You're just horrible beings.
We started a podcast, and the host's opinions are not directly reflect. Wait, say it. What? The opinions of the host of this show are not directly representative of the name and trademark of Libservative.
That's
something like that, right?
Yeah, I feel terrible. I feel like I might have to cut that out. I'm not going to cut it out.
No, we're already
lives
live.
on the lives on
You
the
better
Fuck it, I'll do it live.
But what I was saying about the PSA test was,
For the record, I was pushed into this. This is peer pressure.
So was I. It's all Bell's fault.
God.
Put it on TikTok.
Let's face it. If anybody's getting fired first, it's Bell.
That's true. 100. If you guys have to get rid of me, if you guys have to get rid of me to save the show, that's okay.
Next
I
week
think he
we
was
jump on
talking
the
about
show
your
and be
real
like-
job.
Next week we have to jump on the show and give an announcement. Yeah, we had to let Bell go for some comments that he made last week, and we kind of went with, but we have to save our own asses.
Yeah.
So
We're
yeah,
on the air. This is performative.
I understand, like Joe Schmo, 70-year-old, not getting a PSA test based on this knowledge. It's the president of the United States. Like, don't you think you want to know what his numbers are? Even if it is just like, hey, dude, you're old, your PSA numbers are high. You know what I mean? There's just like, I feel like you should know if the president of the United States has prostate cancer. Feel like that's something somebody should know.
Yeah.
Even if you want to hide it, right? Like, even if you don't want us to know, but they're acting like nobody knew.
They are.
Very, very fishy.
To say the
What
least.
else can I say? You got
I don't
TikTok videos? You got TikTok videos, Corey? We got like 9 minutes left.
I got TikTok videos for you.
Bell's got them.
All right.
How many you got? So I can prepare.
Just a couple. Just a couple little baby ones. All right. We met. So now that we just went on this whole tirade about Joe Biden's current health situation, do you think it's gonna, like, here you go, here's an over under. Do you think it's gonna help or hurt Jake Tapper's new book?
If he dies?
Yeah.
Or if, well, he's going to die, but like just the announcement.
Well, and who was it? I think it was what's his fucking name? Jon Stewart. He's like, oh, Jake Tapper's coming out with this book talking about a topic that we were all like told wasn't real, and it's information that the news should have gave us for free. That Joe Biden was losing his mind and also might have had prostate. Well, this is before the prostate cancer, but here's Megyn Kelly
Right.
kind of grilled him a little bit.
Can
Go
I
ahead
just
and
say
play
this
it.
before Bell rolls this? Can I just say this? This is very shallow of me. Megyn Kelly still looks absolutely fucking fantastic.
Yeah, so she is.
But you don't think she's hot because she's
No.
blonde.
No. She is a blonde, but she is pretty. I'm saying there is a large amount of people out there, guy and girl, who hide behind the whole stereotypical premise of blonde equaling attractiveness.
Nope, you just don't think blonde chicks are hot. It's fine.
I never said that. I've dated a lot of blonde chicks.
But you didn't want to.
My wife was blonde when I met her.
Is that how you figured it out?
And I said, cut that shit off.
You better dye that shit now.
No. I'm not saying that there aren't blonde girls that are attractive. My thing is I feel like people will hide behind a stereotypical trope for the archetype of attractiveness and blonde hair.
Shit, buddy, I gotta dig a little deeper.
But no, Megyn Kelly is, yeah, she's pretty.
And she's like, how old is she now? She's got to be in like her late 50s now. Go ahead and roll it, Bella, and I'm going to look up how old Megyn Kelly is.
She's probably like 42.
No, she's over 50. I know that.
You covered the Biden presidency aggressively throughout the 4 years, and you didn't cover mental acuity hardly at all. I mean, time and time again,
she's
when
54.
issues came up, you seem to be running cover for the president.
I don't think
interested.
That's true.
Well, I mean, we'll start with the Laura Trump issue that you referred. Here it is. This happened in 2020.
Joe Biden, as we all know, has worked to overcome a stutter. How do you think it makes little kids with stutters feel when they see you make a comment like that?
First and foremost, I had no idea that Joe Biden ever suffered from a stutter. I think what we see on stage with Joe Biden, Jake, is very clearly a cognitive decline.
Okay.
That's what I'm referring to. It makes me uncomfortable
You are
to
no
watch somebody on stage search for
That's so
questions.
amazing.
You're trying to tell me that what I was suggesting was
I think
we
you
played
were
this
mocking
video
his
last week,
stutter.
this particular one.
I think you were mocking his stutter, and I think you have absolutely no standing to diagnose somebody's
Played this
cognitive
last week?
decline.
And it's very
Just
concerning to a
this
lot of
Jake
people
Tapper video,
that
yeah.
this could be the leader of the free world.
Okay.
That is all I'm saying. I genuinely
you,
feel
Laura
sorry
Trump.
for Joe Biden.
I appreciate it. I'm sure it was from a place of concern. We all believe that. Laura Trump, thank you so much.
Do you want to apologize to Laura Trump now?
I've already apologized to her. I called her months ago.
And what did she say?
I mean, I don't want to disclose the contents of a private conversation, but I thought the conversation went well. And she has said this publicly, so I feel fine sharing it. She said that she would never mock anybody's stutter. But I mean, after we did the research for this book, and I realized how bad his acuity issues were, I called Laura Trump and I said, you were right.
She was totally right. That's the thing, because when I watched that clip, and I'm giving voice to what a lot of people watching the show are feeling, Jake, I feel angry because she was right. And not only did you not allow her to make her comments, but you seemed to try to humiliate her. You had a hostility toward the position, but she was totally right. And then you lectured her on how she was in no position to diagnose cognitive decline, which you guys do at length, including on page 4 of your book. You describe at length his cognitive decline, which is all she tried to do with you. But you had such a visceral reaction to her. And my feeling is that's because you didn't want to hear it.
So here's my reaction to this. First of all, we haven't talked a lot about Megyn Kelly on this show. One of the things that I love about Megyn Kelly is that she did what Tucker Carlson is doing before Tucker did it. She was the original, like, she's a fucking bulldog, dude. And I absolutely love that about her. She was the first one to like step away from Fox News. She tried to go on didn't she go on like an NBC show? She was trying to be like that conservative voice on like a liberal show, I think, for a little while there. Realized that didn't work. And then just went out and did her own thing and just became the bulldog that she is now. And like, once she got away from like that fucking Rupert Murdoch trying to turn her into like the Fox News hot blonde bimbo that we all knew she wasn't. She's too smart for that. Once she got away from that, this is who she became. She doesn't give a fuck. Absolute bulldog. I love her. She's great. I hated her on Fox News.
Yeah. What is she? What channel is she? What is she on now? Because I know the guys from the Fifth Column.
She does her own thing. She does her own thing. She does the same thing Tucker does. It's just her own independent show.
Interesting. All right.
Yeah,
so
she's
the
great.
next one, before we play it, I have a question for you guys. Do you think the president of Syria right now is a CIA puppet or legitimate?
I know the answer. I already know the answer.
Well, I don't know the answer.
He is a CIA puppet, and I'm going to tell you exactly why he's a CIA puppet. He is a former Al-Qaeda leader.
That's
who
fair.
has since changed his name and no longer wears a turban. He's absolutely a CIA puppet. Why wouldn't he be? This is what we do. We take down 7 nations in 5 years, then we install a puppet government who surrounds himself with kleptocrats, takes a bunch of American taxpayer dollars, pockets them, And then a revolution happens and a new power vacuum starts. That's what's going to happen in Syria. That's what will happen in Iran if theoretically we are successful in removing their regime. We will not be successful in removing their regime. That's the one that's going to be really, really difficult to do.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, go ahead and play this song.
فذاك انا بقول اليوم نحن الثوره خلصت بالنسبه لنا. جزء من تاريخنا نعتز فيه، نفتخر فيه، نحتفل فيه. لكن لا نستحضر عقليته معنا بالدخول. اليوم تخيل انا ابني الدوله.
The listeners can't understand unless they speak Arabic, which we
you can actually cut it because you can cut it because I didn't think about that. I'm just like,
you didn't realize the podcast listeners that may not speak Arabic. There are subtitles. We can read them.
Right. I'm not going to sit here and transcribe what this guy is trying to say.
Well, you can't read that good. That's why.
But basically what he is saying is he's like, we have to transform from being a revolutionist faction to like a governmental faction, and how, yes, we took over the country through a revolution, but that's not what we're doing anymore. And now we have to think about infrastructure. We have to think about telecommunications. We have to think about innovation. We have to think about healthcare. We have to think about all the different things like of the structure of what it is to like create a country. And it was just super fascinating to hear this little transformation. And then with the context of Trump acknowledging who he is and trying to talk about lifting sanctions on Syria. And it's just, I don't know. It was just interesting. But
Corey, before I forget, I have to offer a correction for something that I just said. I think I said that he traded in his turban for a blue suit. I know they don't wear turbans. Turbans are a Sikh head garb.
Right.
I said the wrong word.
That's okay.
Doesn't wear fabric on his head and burlap bags his clothes anymore. He traded it in for his suit. I apologize. I said the wrong term. I know that they don't wear turbans. Anyway, you got the next one?
Yeah. So this is our girl Anna. Well, not necessarily our girl, but
Anna Kasparian. I think she's on Ozempic. I'm seeing her face. I'm seeing her face sinking in just a little bit.
Really?
Yeah. I don't know.
And he takes the fat shot drug.
No, but this one just involves your boy. So I thought you might find this one interesting.
Okay, Dave Smith. All right. Yeah, he's totally irrelevant. That's what everybody always says. That's the only argument they have against anything.
Well, look, I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, but I think that the theory that you're about to hear from Dave Smith is interesting. Take a look.
She started bringing Liz Cheney out to campaign events and campaigning with Liz Cheney. Now, if you were just looking at this,
he's talking about Kamala,
you'd go, okay,
yeah,
what demographic of voters is this for? And you'd very quickly realize that that demographic doesn't exist.
No.
Are the leftists, they still remember her last name is Cheney. And then on the other side, I mean, she lost by like 50 points in her congressional run. I mean, it's not like you're bringing Republicans in. And so I think the only thing you could conclude is that, oh, this isn't actually for the voters. There's somebody else who Kamala Harris is talking to here. Of course. There's a power source that may be a little concerned about her, and she's trying to let them know, don't worry, I'm good for business. I've got Liz Cheney right here. That's kind of my assumption. It seemed to me with the Douglas Murray thing, he wasn't playing to the audience. He certainly wasn't trying to persuade Joe.
No.
He perhaps was talking to a different audience,
Clearly.
which will make sure that his career is just fine going forward.
Essentially saying that Douglas Murray is a shill, a paid shill.
If he had said that in the past,
no
and
shit.
He wasn't Jewish, it wouldn't be just Douglas Murray's of the world. It would be all of mainstream media who would say, anti-Semite. But wait, is he getting paid or isn't he? That's a good question, right? Are politicians getting paid by AIPAC or no? That's not a good question. That's clear. They are definitely getting paid by AIPAC. Isn't it amazing that great reporters, they got their hat and they got the pencil on behind their ear and guys, yeah, I'm a national media reporter. and you couldn't figure out that AIPAC's the largest donor to politicians in this cycle, and that politicians might care about the campaign contributions? Like that, you just couldn't piece that one together.
Here, let me help him out.
Come on.
Let me help him out. AIPAC's Political Action Committee and its super PAC, which is known as the United Democracy Project, that's cute, spent nearly $126.9 million combined during the 2023 and 2024 election cycle. And that's according to filings with the FEC. That includes more than $55.2 million in donations given to federal candidates. Let's take a gander over at the Democratic side where, oh wow, House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has received close to $1 million from AIPAC.
And today he was loudly complaining about the plane from Qatar, and that's normal, that's fine. And then he had to add in Qatar, which is allied with Iran and Hamas.
Stop trying to do impressions.
Jake, don't do impressions. Come on, man.
Why do all of your impressions sound the same?
It's just, it goes like what Dave Smith is there talking about, and Dave Smith is a really good communicator. He's a comedian, but he's like, what he's basically clunkily talking about is worthy and unworthy victims, with Noam Chomsky, essentially. Talking about how, actually, no, he's not. He's not talking about that. But what he is talking about is the messages that underlie other messages that most Americans, I would say Americans specifically, because we're pretty binary in our language and all that stuff. And when I say binary, I guess I mean just like one language. But he's basically talking about like the message being sent by the Harris administration, having Liz Cheney on there, wasn't necessarily for the voters, but for the donors.
Yeah, what's
and that's
interesting about
equivalent
Dave
to, and like, so the first person to actually like make me like pay attention to things like that was Sagar and Jetty on Breaking Points.
By the way, Dave just filled in for Sagar.
Yeah, he
on
did.
Breaking Points. Yeah.
I think it was a pretty decent episode.
I haven't listened to it yet. I will go back and listen. Here's what I will say about what Dave said to Tucker. This is the thing that.
Well, real quick, let me finish what I was saying really fast.
Okay, go ahead.
It's equivalent to basically what Sagar was saying on their show. Like, and it's something I picked up on years ago and like tried to pay attention to. It's like when China, Israel, or Russia from their government make a press release, but it's in English. That's not for their people. That's for you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They release things in English for the American people to create a message, to create a narrative.
Or just people in the West in general.
Right.
Yeah, well,
there's always an audience, but sometimes it's just not you. And her bringing Liz Cheney onto her campaign trail wasn't for the donors. It was for the military-industrial complex to go, listen, no, we got your back.
Well, in that case, it was a little bit for the donors, but not for the voters, I think is what you meant to say.
Mm-hmm. No, that's what I said. Not for the voters, but for the donors.
You said not for the donors. Doesn't matter. It's just a little Freudian slip. I know what you meant.
Hey, roll that tape back.
No, yeah, go back and listen. You said donors.
You know I listen to every episode. If I find it, I'm gonna fucking screen record it.
Okay, all right. But this is what I like about Dave Smith, because the people that he gets shit from, like if you go on and you see him, like, because he does, and he openly admits this on his show, he gets into these petty little arguments, right, with like people like Ben Shapiro and Mark Levin and other, pro-Israel crowd right now, because that's kind of the flavor of the day. And if you look at the comments underneath, every single tweet attacking Dave is always something to the effect of, well, you're just a comedian. It's always an attack on him. Nobody ever engages with Dave's argument because they have nothing. How long have we known this? I go back to the debate that Dave was actually on with Cenk, debating on the same side.
Yeah, they were on the same side for Israel.
Or whether or not Israel Israel Gaza was a justified war, and on the other side was Batya Ungar-Sargon and Dennis Prager.
Right.
And they had
Batya
no
Ungar-Sargon is typically like, she typically seems like she's pretty sensible, but she throws it like she's like a Barry White. She throws it all out the window when it comes to Israel.
When it comes to Israel, anything to do with Israel. But what I love about Dave is that he, first of all, he engages with the argument, but also he does things like this, where I remember us sitting here talking about on this show when Kamala Harris started parading around the country with Liz Cheney, going, why in the fuck does she think this is going to work? And we didn't take that next step to go, what the question that Dave asked when he's talking to Tucker, who is this actually for? We didn't take that leap. We just talked about how stupid it was, because we understood that it was stupid, and we understood that it wasn't going to convince any voters.
Right.
But we didn't take the next step to ask the question of, like, why is she doing it? Is there a reason that she's doing it? We just thought that the campaign was completely out of touch with the voting public. And that may be true, and seems like it was in hindsight, but that doesn't mean that they weren't parading Liz Cheney around for a reason.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
there's still a reason.
Like, Dave, like, I don't care what anybody says. Dave is brilliant.
Hey, he's a smart guy.
He really is brilliant, and he will always make arguments based
I mean,
on
he's your typical smart comedian. He just gets it.
Oh, but he's just a dumb comedian. He doesn't know anything. He's never been to Israel, so he can't possibly know what's going on. And
so this next one is I don't know how I got this footage. It's pretty wild, but it's live footage from when the founding fathers are writing the Constitution, right after they finished writing the First Amendment, of which is free speech. And then
there were no cameras back then, Corey. How did we get this footage?
I'm just good.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
Principle of our nation.
Guns. Wait, start it over, Bell?
Excuse me.
Gun.
Principle of our nation. What is the second most important principle of our nation?
Guns.
Excuse me.
Gun.
I don't hate that. Well, I do. It's ridiculous. Sir, what is your name?
Matt.
Matt what?
Matt, don't you worry about it.
Well, Matt, what will posterity say of us if the second right we enshrine in this document is simply guns?
That we don't play.
Damn, that's actually kind of sick. Yes. No. The idea is ludicrous. Wait, now hold on. I mean, we did just make a law that said anyone can say whatever crazy stuff they want, right? Maybe this gun thing would kind of balance that out.
Bingo.
Okay, yes, but by the same token, wouldn't having a gun embolden people to say crazy stuff as well?
Bro, what?
Yeah. What? Make that make sense? Gentlemen, we cannot just have an amendment that says guns. What about guns?
Having
them. Ooh, that's smart. Like, who is this guy? Why isn't he running this? Matt, I am open to discussing guns for a later amendment, but I must insist we move on to a more pressing concern. You're screaming. So angry. Sir, where are you from exactly?
Lighten up a spliff. And he goes, I'm from America.
Yes, but where in America? Which state?
A united one.
Oh, wow. Well said.
Does Goggins just play the same character in everything he's in?
I don't know, but he's fucking good at it.
Really, gentlemen, that's what we want the Second Amendment to be. Have guns. That sounds idiotic.
Just chill. Not have guns. Bear arms.
Ooh, that is so good.
Dude, and I love how he like they're all wearing like wool and he's wearing denim.
Amendment to the right to bear arms. I just got chills. Yeah.
Well, my work here's done.
Wait, Matt, will we ever see you again?
Depends on where you look.
And it's funny because
That's how the Second Amendment was written.
Honestly, like it's like we all agree it's an important amendment, right?
Yeah.
But it's funny because like really think about it. You had a bunch of between like 21 and like 38-year-olds who were paranoid as fuck of big government. And they're like, well, you know, everyone's got to be armed. Marx, and what's really funny, and it goes back to what we were talking about earlier about leftists and, you know, and like libertarians, of how they all like agree on the same issues, just going about it is where they find the disagreement. Even Karl Marx said the workers must be armed.
Very successful, very rich.
Who, Marx? No, he was kind of a slouch.
Also completely full of shit, but sorry, I won't say that. Wait,
I don't know. You can't say that. Like, you can't say he's full of shit. Like his philosophy on different shit, right? Like the alienation of labor. Like there's weight to it.
He was the original. He was the original grifter. I said it. That's right. I said it.
I don't know if he's the original grifter. What does that even mean?
What does what even mean?
What you just said.
Well, what is Marxism? Oh, it wasn't a serious question.
No.
Can you like shut up?
Go outside, nerd.
Should we do that more often? Just get in fights with our sound bites?
Nope. That sounds like a terrible idea. You got any more?
Nope, that was it.
That was it. Yeah.
All right.
Tell the people where they can find us, Corey.
Enough.
Tell the people where they can find us.
Libservative Podcast is found on all social media and podcast platforms. Our website is libservativeshow.com. We can be found at Libservative on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. Instagram and Twitter at LibservativePod. Our TikTok videos can be found at Libservative Podcast. And you can reach out directly at libservativepod@gmail.com. Subscribe today.
And even though we didn't mention it at the start of the show, all opinions heard on tonight's show are our own and do not reflect those of Libservative. Bell the Bodysnatcher on the ones and twos. He, as always, has been Corey Walsh.
He's Dan Griffin.
It's been Libservative, intellectual idiots fostering political and cultural literacy, and the world's smartest podcast. And to close out tonight's show, we will leave you with just a little tune that Corey and I are both surprised never won a Grammy.
Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steaming love affair. Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair. Larry looked into the eyes of Obama, the Mac Daddy, and they put a spell on Obama, the Mac Daddy. Obama said to Larry, "Oh, you're just my style and my kind. Oh, you look like just what I want, my man, woman, and half whatever look to look like. Oh, yes, oh, yes, oh, yes." Obama and Larry Sinclair had a steamy love affair in the back of a limo, and then at the Holiday Inn, they had a steaming love affair.
Come on now, you expect me to believe that?
The great fundamental issue now before our people. We, the people, cannot turn back. Somebody must lead, or else the fight would not be made at all.